often I'm hearing that there is some fear of losing something in this process, or maybe some sense of sacrifice. There is a lot this idea of sacrifice. I need to sacrifice something in order to realize who I am, in order to realize what is reality, in order to get in touch with my being. And it's a confusion to believe that you have to lose something to gain everything, because reality is everything there is. So there is not, you cannot divide reality into parts and then lose one part of reality. So as this process is the process of self-realization, which is another name for the realization of the nature of reality, you can't lose anything. That's why you can also say self-realization or the realization of the nature of reality. Because whatever you are, whatever self you believe to be or not to be, whatever the self is, has to be real. And because reality cannot be divided into parts, the self is not something different from reality. So in the process of investigating what you are, in the investigation of the nature of yourself, you are discovering reality itself. Just as if you want to inquire into what is reality, if you inquire into perception, into thought, into sensation, into whatever you believe is real, well, you are inquiring into reality, and what you will find is yourself also. So really, self and reality is two different words that point to that which is the essence of everything, and that from which everything comes from, and that in which everything resolve or dissolve. And that different name for one thing, and it is everything that is. So your experience is it. Now, this belief and this confusion about sacrifice, about I'm going to lose something, come from this misunderstanding that there are things that you can lose. There are some kind of object that you can lose, as if joy was a physical object, like a key, or like a mobile phone that you can lose, and then you lose your happiness, and you're like, I lose it. And we start to think about happiness, about emotions, about ourselves as objects, literally as physical, material things that we can lose or we gain. And when I suffer, I gain some object that is kind of disturbing me. So then we have this strong habit to put everything into containers, everything into a materialistic perspective. So then the self is some kind of object made out of mind or thoughts or who knows what, but it is something that I am. And it is somewhere in another container, which is somehow the body, and it is somewhere in the head, maybe, or the chest. So there is one object with myself, which is in another object, which is the body. And this body is in another object that I call Earth or the universe. And all of those objects are in a very big and huge object that I call reality. And this way of thinking, this way of talking, this way of investigating is the perspective of materialism, which is this strong belief and assumption that is never a fact in our experience, that things exist independently of ourselves, that they are objects that exist, if I look at them or not. They're objects that were there before I was aware of them. And when I'm aware of them, then they are here, they are real to me. And when I'm not aware of them, the objects still persist in time and space. So therefore, with this perspective, I start to think, okay, so this realization, if I realize what I am, I will lose everything. I will lose my body, I will lose my life, I will lose my relationship, I will lose everything. So then there is a struggle. There's a struggle within us, because there's a part of us which long for more, that know that there is more, that there is this longing for dissolving into reality, into what we are, into that which is peaceful and joyful, and just this relaxation. I want that, I want this more. And the other part is, but wait, when I dissolve too much into this, I'm losing my personality, I'm losing my specialness, I'm losing my identity. I become no one, and I'm sacrificing my life, my human life, for something that I don't know what it is. And that's kind of this idea of sacrifice or losing something, come from this attachment to the belief of duality, in the sense that there are things out there and I'm in here. The duality can very simply be expressed in terms of containers, right? That I am in here somewhere and things are out there, and I'm trying to put more things that are out there inside here, and then if I put enough things inside here, I will maybe be more happy, you know. And there is some kind of this weird belief and understanding of things are contained into others. And it is strange, because when you investigate your experience directly, you don't find borders, you don't find demarcation, you don't find boundaries, and you don't find reference point. All you find is your experience unfolding constantly. All you find is this shining forth that is absolutely here. It's an absolute fact that there is experience. But there is nothing more that you can say without building subjective boundaries that doesn't hold investigation. Now, maybe what I'm saying now will seem very mystical or strange or very, I hope not, but very far away from our normal experience, from our mundane everyday life. But it is really not. If you start to explore your experience directly, you will see that there is absolutely no border. And it is that because there is no border, that for thousands and thousands of years, people talk about eternity, about limitlessness, about God, about infinity. And there is this kind of devotion to this eternal aspect of experience. But the devotion doesn't come from a belief. It comes from a clear investigation into reality, into what is here. Now, the way we can start to understand or everything that I'm saying right now is simply to see that every aspect of your life that you investigate carefully, it's divergent. It is always opening to more in all aspects. If you have any hobby in your life, whatever it is, if you have a passion and you start learning, whatever it is, music, swimming, climbing, painting, whatever, you will see that there is always more to learn. There are maybe you can feel maybe sometimes some clear step forward, but there is always more to learn. You can have a passion for all your life since you were a baby, and you will die with, there is always more. I haven't learned everything I wanted to learn. That's one aspect of infinity. That's one of the beauty of infinity. From a human perspective, it's beautiful because this is infinite. It's also true if you explore more directly science. Science, it's a never ending. Since it has begun 200 or 300 years ago. I mean, I'm not a specialist, but it's very new. The Western science it's a very new in terms of human existence. It's very, very new. But even on the limited time that it was here, which is already 200 or maybe two or 400 years, it has never reached a conclusion. It has never said, okay, this is reality and everyone is agree with that. We have studied it and we all agree reality is this way. This is it. Never. There is always more. There is always more. And you can see this in the atom. The atom was the Greek that invented this word. I'm not a specialist again, but the interesting thing is that the atom was kind of the thing that was irreducible, that you cannot reduce to a smaller part. This was the called atom. But now they have exploded this atom into protons and nucleon and many thousand things. And now this is the smallest things possible, which is already energy. But they say no, but now there's even more. There is a gluon, which is even smaller. in science, there is always more. In physical science. And if you go into medicine, it's the same. The complexity of the body is endless. It's beautiful, okay, we learn more, but it is infinite. There is always new discovery, groundbreaking discovery. Now there is not only a neuron, but there is other type of neuron which connect them differently, and this, it's amazing. Now it's a new discovery and everything changed. It's the same. It's infinite. It's the same for your body. If you go deep into your body and you start to really do deep, sensitive, and intelligent exploration of your body, you will find yourself with sensations. And when you start to dive into sensation, you will see it's limitless. You find no border. It's like you can zoom in to infinity with sensitivity. And it's very simple. We not do this here, but you can do it yourself. If you feel just your hand, you just feel your hand and you just focus on the hand and you let go of any thought you have about a hand, about bones, about muscles, nervous system, skin, and you just let all of this on the side for a while, all of those thoughts. You let go of the image of the hand that you have, and you stay with the sensation that we call hand, and you stay with that. You stay with that. You stay with that, and you will see that instead of becoming more clear and more delimited, the hand will start to open up just like a cloud, just like it's here, obviously here, and then it will open and open and open and open and open. And it can open so much that at some point, if you see it, your mind will say, but I'm not sure I'm feeling the hand anymore. Yeah, you see? Because the mind will forget the boundary and will say, what is that? This is not a hand. Well, maybe it's not the hand that the mind is manufactured in its theater, but it is the actual experience of the hand directly as a sensation, and it is illimited. And the perception is the same. Don't you find this amazing that now for maybe 100 years we have a lot of capacity of memorization, physical memorization, that now artists, the painting, for example, people take pictures of what they paint. right? And we can go on internet and you can spend probably all your life to watch always new paint, new art, new form, new things, new images, new shape of colors. And it's always new. Even in perception, there is never two paint that are the same. No one said, you know what, we have to stop painting because we have painted everything that there was to paint. So now everything was done, so thank you, you can choose something else if you want to be creative. No, no. There is always new. So the paint as an image, right? So the image is always fresh. You have never seen this before, ever. Whatever it is, it's infinite in its expression. But the infinity in seeing presents itself as a pattern of colors and shapes that are always fresh. The music is the same. Music, there is always new artists with music, new song. How it's possible? Because hearing is infinite. So the expression of hearing, which is sound, is infinite in its expression. It's the same with food. You never say, you know what, I have eaten everything that there was to eat, now it's very boring eating. No, there's always new, always fresh, always a new way to cook, new food, new things. It's infinite. And it's the same with the mind. Have you noticed how the mind is infinite also? Books. How many books have we written since the beginning of time? And we keep writing. It's infinite. And that's why reality, it's indivisible. You can never cut part in it. You can never divide reality into parts. And because reality, you cannot divide reality into parts, you can never lose reality, or you can never lose part of reality. But it's not because, but it is also illimited. So it is illimited in its expression, but it is one thing, which is not a thing. It's not because reality is one that it is limited in any way. And that's where the language starts to be, that's where it's difficult to express this in language, in a linear way, with concept, but it is an actual and clear and very easy fact of life, fact of your experience as it is in the moment. So yourself, what we are, is an expression of reality. And as such, our self cannot be divided. Our self cannot be fragmented into different things. Or to say differently, it can be fragmented into a lot of things, to an infinity of things, but none of them are separated in any way. So the separation, it's manufactured by thought, by thinking. And from this perspective, you start to imagine sacrifice. You start to imagine losing things. But this process is really, you gain everything and you lose absolutely nothing. You gain everything and there is no sacrifice asked of any kind. Whatever you lose was not there to begin with. So there is nothing that you have lost anyway. What is real cannot be lost, and what is unreal was never there. There is no sacrifice, there is nothing to lose. And that's the beauty of this process. Whatever is important to you, you will never lose it. And whatever is useless is already gone if you watch carefully. So there is really nothing to lose. And we are so lucky that it is given, it is right here. And this is the process of self-realization